Good morning, children. This is 8th Science. We are doing chapter number 16, Coal and Petroleum. Today we are going to start with topic 16.3.2, that is destructive distillation of coal. Destructive distillation of coal. So children, destructive distillation, what does it mean? So destructive distillation means it is a process by which we are going to produce useful products like coke, charcoal. How? By heating coal, by heating wood at very high temperature in absence of air. So please underline the definition for destructive distillation, that is, it is a process by which the substances like coal and wood, you are what doing? You are decomposing it, means coal and wood will break down and it will produce coke, charcoal, coal gas, right? So these all products are from the coal and wood. So when you are heating them in absence of air, they distill to produce useful products such as coke, charcoal, etc. This process is known as destructive distillation. So let's start with destructive distillation. So when coal is heated strongly, means at very high temperature in absence of air, means there is no oxygen. The chamber in which you are putting the coal and wood and you are burning it, that is a sealed chamber, right? No air can go inside. So that chamber is having no air, it is having no oxygen. So when you are burning that in absence of oxygen, it produces organic and inorganic substance. Let's see which is the first substance it produces. First thing it produces is coke. Coke here is not that what you drink, the soft drink. Your coke is different. Your children, coke is the solid residue. Residue means जो बचा हुआ है. So the solid which is left behind after the dry distillation of coal, whatever remains, that remains of fraction of this destructive distillation of coal is known as coke. So coke is, it is tough, porous and black. So it is very solid. It is porous, means it has holes in it, and it is black in color. And it contains about 98% of carbon, right? And where it is used, children? It is used to manufacture steel and to get metals from the ores, to get metals from the ores, right? So this is your coke. Now next, when you pass steam, when you pass steam over red hot coke, means your coke is very red hot. If you are passing steam over it, then what happens? It produces water gas. Water gas is nothing but it is a mixture of CO, that is carbon monoxide, and hydrogen. So this is your water gas and it is a fuel. Right children? So in destructive distillation of coal, the first product formed is coke. Coke कैसा होता है? Coke porous होता है, solid होता है, and it is black. It contains 98% of carbon, right? And what it is the leftover, right? It is a solid left behind after the distillation of coal is done. That is your coke. So suppose on the red hot coke you pass steam, then what it produces? It produces water gas, which is a fuel. Water gas is carbon monoxide, that is CO, plus hydrogen, that is H2, right? Now let's see the next process which we are going to do for the red hot coke. Now children, for the red hot coke, we are going to pass air over it. So children, when we pass air over the red hot coke, It produces a mixture of carbon monoxide and nitrogen. And this mixture of carbon monoxide and nitrogen is known as producer gas. This producer gas is formed. So you have to remember that if you pass steam over red hot coke, it produces water gas, which is carbon monoxide plus hydrogen gas. And if you pass air, that is oxygen O2 plus 4N2, that is nitrogen is present in air. So it produces producer gas, which is a mixture of carbon monoxide and nitrogen. Right, children? Now let's talk about the next substance which is formed from the destructive distillation of coal. First was coke, the second is coal tar. So what is coal tar? So children, tar means it is a liquid, right? Very viscous, very dense, gada gada liquid, right? It is very thick, right? So what is coal tar? Means when you are burning coal, right, beta? At very high temperature in absence of air, one of the product that is formed is coal tar. Coal tar is thick black liquid which is having unpleasant smells. Children, it is used to for the construction of the roads. You might have seen tar, Damar road, right? For that they are using this coal tar. So that is your tar, right? It is a mixture of about 200 substances. In this coal tar, there are about 200 substances, and it is used in manufacturing of dyes, drugs, perfumes, explosives, paints, and one of the substance which is obtained from coal tar that is used to construct roads, right? But in nowadays, bitumen, a petroleum product, is used in making roads. So you have to remember coal tar is what? It is a thick black liquid which is unpleasant in smell, and it is a mixture of about 200 substances, and it is used in manufacturing of drugs, dyes, perfumes, paints, explosives, and it is also used to construct roads. Right, children? This is what you have to write. Chalo, let's talk about the next product which is obtained from the destructive distillation of coal. First one was coke, second is coal tar, third is coal gas. So as the name suggests, it is a gas, right? So it is a gas that is produced during the processing of carbon, right? When you are processing carbon, when you are burning carbon at very high temperature in absence of air, then a gas is produced. That gas is a mixture of methane, carbon monoxide and hydrogen. And this gas, in which there are these three, methane, carbon monoxide and hydrogen, is known as coal gas. It is a very good fuel, right? And this is your coal gas. So you have to remember the three products, the three substances which you get from the destructive distillation of coal, right? The next topic is, children, petroleum. Petroleum. So here you can see a very beautiful diagram is given where the ONGC, you know ONGC is the government agency for digging of the natural gas and petroleum, right? So let's start with petroleum. We will talk about here how petroleum is formed, right? First, let's start with what is petroleum. So petrol and petroleum, right? Petrol is also a product of petroleum only. So let's start with petrol. What is petrol? Petrol is a dark colored and it is viscous. Viscous means it is very thick, right? It is viscous and it is strong smelling liquid. So this is your petroleum. Dark, viscous and strong smelling liquid. Its name has been derived from petra means rock and oleum means oil. Means the oil which is present beneath the rocks, the oil that is present under the rocks, right? Crude petroleum means the petroleum that we dig, that we drill and dig out from the undercrust of the earth. that is called crude petroleum, right? That is raw petroleum. That is a complex mixture of उसमें solid भी होता है, liquid भी होता है, and gaseous hydrocarbons mixed with water. Right, children? So this is a petroleum. Word petra means rock and oleum means oil. Let's talk about the next thing, and that is, we were talking about that in petroleum there are solid, liquid and gaseous hydrocarbons, and there is lot of water, plus there are many other salts and other particles too. So it is a mixture of compounds. There are many compounds in it, right? But this petroleum is lighter than water and also insoluble in water. This petroleum, it does not get mixed with the water, and it is lighter than water, and as it is lighter, it will occur above the water layer. पहले इसकी petroleum की layer होगी deep in the earth, and beneath the petroleum layer you will have the water layer, right beta? Chalo. Now let's talk about the formation of petroleum. So children, here also the same story will come, but here you know that petroleum, it is mostly found under the oceans, right, under the water bodies. So what happens? Millions of years ago, the dead remains of marine animals and marine organisms, means plants and animals. Marine means those who live in water. So their bodies were buried under the bottom of the ocean, and on that sand and rocks were covered, right? Then there it got decomposed by the bacteria, and due to the high pressure and high temperature, it got liquefied, means वो liquid में convert हो गया. This liquid went down and down, it swept down into the rocks and remained there like a lake of oil between the layers of the rock. So children, this is how petroleum is formed. You have to remember the story. Okay. Chalo. Then how petroleum is obtained? So children, petroleum is obtained by digging holes into the earth crust. By digging holes into the earth crust. So when you dig hole, the first thing that comes out with a great pressure, जैसे आपने वहाँ पे पानी के नीचे you dig hole, the first thing that comes out is the natural gas that is coming out with a tremendous pressure. एकदम pressure के साथ natural gas comes out first, and after some time oil comes out by itself, and then you have to pump out the oil from the wells, and that oil is sent to the refinery system. Refining system is where this is crude petrol, right Anushka? ये raw petrol है, इसमें बहुत सारे mixtures है. This is not pure, right? So crude petrol, it has to undergo some refining, उसकी cleaning होनी पड़ेगी, और उसकी cleaning होते ही we are going to get a number of products from the crude petrol, from the crude oil, right? So this is the most important topic, and that is the refining of petroleum. Refining is cleaning, the separation of the various constituents which are constituents of petroleum on the basis of their different boiling point. So children, such refineries or such oil wells are present in Assam, Gujarat, and they are also present in Mumbai and in the deltas of Kaveri and Godavari. So ये जो water sources हैं उसके नीचे बेटा oil wells are present from which the oil is pumped out, and then the refining of petroleum has to be carried out. ठीक है, अब हम देखेंगे बेटा refining क्या होता है, right? So for refining you have to concentrate on the diagram. refining समझ लो, it is very very important. So very very important, refining. Just a minute, let me adjust it. Okay, I think this is okay. Okay, children. Now you just concentrate on page number 268, right? So we are talking about fractional distillation. This is fractional distillation, right? Fraction means constituent. Means ये जो crude oil है, it has many substances in it. It has fuel oil, it has lubricating oil, it has diesel oil, it has kerosene, it has petrol, it has naphthas, it has many gases, and it has lot of residue. कचरा बचा हुआ है इसमें, right? The remains. So these all are the constituents जिससे मिलके crude oil बनता है. So these constituents, they are known as fractions. These constituents, they are known as fractions. क्या बोलते हैं उनको? Fractions. Now these fractions, you are separating them. आप crude oil में से ये सब separate कर रहे हो. How? On the basis of their different boiling point. On the basis of their different boiling point. क्या होगा सबसे पहले? Now, if you see, this is a furnace. ठीक है, ये furnace है. इसके अंदर आप यहाँ से, if you see on the left, ये from here the crude oil is entered. ठीक है, जो oil हमने dig किया ना बेटा from the wells, that oil we are bringing, and then that oil we are inserting here. You can see that it is being heated, and then we are inserting it into this flask, right? Now what will happen? The fraction or the substance which are having a boiling point of 20 degree centigrade, इसमें कुछ होगा जो हीट करने से 20 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड पे ही वो बॉयल होके किसमें कन्वर्ट हो गया? गैस में. तो गैस है तो वो कहाँ आ जाएगा? ऊपर की तरफ हो जाएगा, राइट? एंड दैट विल बी कलेक्टेड फ्रॉम हियर. So at a very low temperature, that is at heating at 20 degree centigrade, the gases are collected from the top of the furnace, right? From the top of the furnace. समझ में आया? Now next, फिर आप और heat करो. Then when your temperature reaches at 70 degree, then the substance, that is naphtha, its boiling point comes. So naphtha boil होके ऊपर गया और वो ऊपर पहुंच गया. देखो कोई भी चीज बेटा boil होती है ना, उसके बाद वो हल्की हो जाती है. जो चीज जमती है आपने देखा होगा. If you talk about honey, ठीक है, honey you might have seen in winters, it gets, वो जम जाता है, राइट? तो जम जाता है, देन इट बिकम्स डेंसर, हेवी हो जाता है, एंड इट सेटल्स डाउन एट द बॉटम. तो अब देखोगे बॉटम में नीचे जमा हुआ हनी होता है, एंड एट द टॉप यू कैन सी द हनी विच हैज नॉट बीन, वो जो जमा नहीं है, राइट? सिमिलरली ओवर हियर एट 70 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड, दिस नेप्थास, they reach their boiling point, they become light and they raise up, and as they raise up, they are taken out from this. So at 70 degrees centigrade, the constituent or the fraction, that is naphthas, are obtained during the fractional distillation of petroleum, right? फिर आप और heat करो, then you reach the temperature of 120 degrees centigrade. So at 120 degrees centigrade, what happens? The petrol, it reaches its boiling point, it raises high, and it is collected from this slot, right? फिर आप और temperature increase करो. So you are increasing your temperature 170, 270, 400, 600, and the subconstituents are getting separated, and you collect them from different slots, and at the last what is left, that is your residue that is collected from the bottom of the furnace, right? So In the fractional distillation, the crude oil is separated into 6 to 7 fractions, into 6 to 7 constituents, which are having different temperatures, which boils at different temperature. And when they boil, they raise up, they become lighter, they raise up, and then they are collected out. So this is your fractional distillation. Right, so please underline the definition of the word, that is fractional distillation. Very, very important. So you know fractional distillation is separation. किसका separation किया हमने? Components का separation किया from the crude petrol, right? Petroleum. So from the petroleum, by heating it at a very high temperature, we are separating the different components which are having different boiling point. So if you write this is perfectly okay. So let's underline them. The process of separating the constituents of a liquid mixture, kaise? By heating it, and then condensing separately the components according to their different boiling point, is known as fractional distillation. And what is fraction? Fraction, ये अलग अलग जो constituents है, the petrol, the diesel, the lubricating oil, the fuel oil, the kerosene, the naphthas, they are the constituents, right? They are the constituents. Okay, sure. So here on the next page, they have shown you the table regarding the constituents of petroleum. Means आपको petroleum में से क्या क्या मिला? So these are what? These are the fractions. These are the fractions of petroleum. So from the crude oil is put in a furnace, and the furnace is heated at a very high temperature. So when the temperature of the furnace becomes 20 degree, what comes out? The gases comes out. Then at 70 degrees centigrade, the another substance, that is the naphthas, they come out. So at different temperatures, the constituents, they have different boiling point. They boil and they are separated from the crude oil. So this is your fractional distillation. Okay, fine children, we'll put a pause over